Hey everybody, Michael Rosso, Film Photography Podcast. Today, I'm thrilled to show you Wollensak 8 Model 23 camera. And the only reason I know that is because it says it here, Wollensak 8, and then itty bitty, so small you can't even see, it says Model 23 camera. And this camera sat for the longest time. There was no film readily available for it. And if you open up, you can always tell what's known as a magazine camera. This is a 8mm camera that takes a magazine load of film, which looks like this, an 8mm magazine. Starting in the year 2020, the Film Photography Project, filmphotographystore.com, started offering magazine bundles, which is film in a variety of different types: reversal for projection, negative for digital workflow, color, black and white. So you can shoot with any magazine camera that takes a Kodak magazine, not the infamous Bell & Howell auto load. That's a different animal for a different day. So here's the Wollensak. I'm going to do a very fast overview of this camera. It's a camera that takes no batteries whatsoever. It's a wind camera. Beautifully made. A turret camera which has 3 different lenses on it that you simply rotate to get a different focal length. Amazing. It's so compact, it's so well made that whenever I have an opportunity, I will shoot with this camera. Let's go through it. Okay, on this side of the camera is your wind. You will wind the camera. Usually I wind it just until it doesn't wind anymore, very gently. I don't want to break any springs. Here is your footage, or known as footage counter. You set this to 0 before starting side 1 of your film. Yes, just like regular 8 that comes on a spool, the magazine is also double-sided. You shoot side 1, then you flip it and shoot side 2. The beautiful thing about a magazine is you don't have to touch the film, and you should never open the magazine cartridge. This is sealed, loaded and sealed at the FPP, and should be sent back to the FPP when done shooting, just as you see it here. Meddling with it will create all sorts of chaos, exposure film, and about 1,000 little springs, no, not really, 1,000 little springs will pop out if you decide to open this. The speed that the film is running through is 16 frames per second. That is the recommended speed for 8mm film. I recommend shooting at 16 frames per second. You can vary that. This is your shutter button that runs your film when loaded. On the back of your camera is your eyepiece. This is what you will look through to frame up your shots. You're not looking through your lens. This is not a reflex camera. You're simply looking through an eyepiece, and you know your focal length meaning what lens you're using, by changing this slider on top when you're using a particular lens. For example, on the camera, this particular camera came with 3 lenses: a wide-angle 9mm lens, a standard 13mm lens, and a amazing telephoto 38mm lens. You know, if you're turning your lens, how do you know what lens is lining up with your actual gate of your camera? I put a little piece of tape here, so I know that the lens that's in this position is actually shooting. And I most often use the wide angle 9mm. When looking through your viewfinder, you would just slide this. If, let's say, you're using 13mm, slide the slider to 13.
Yeah.
Super telephoto, slide the slider all the way to 38. And then you'll see through the eyepiece what your lens is somewhat seeing. These are manual lenses. You will have to set your f-stop. To set your f-stop, you use a simple calculation with a light meter, handheld light meter, or light meter app, and that is the ISO of your film. Let's say ISO 40, black and white reversal film, let's just say. And then your shutter speed, which is at 16 frames per second, a constant 1/30th of a second. You put that information in your light meter, take an incident light meter reading where you're shooting, and then right above 1/30th of a second, you will see the f-stop you need to shoot. How simple, and once you start shooting, you will get used to it in no time at all. Also on the front of the camera is the open door button right here to open up your camera. As I mentioned, it takes a Kodak magazine, which literally just clicks in. How simple. Close your door. Once you're done with side one, you would open up your camera, literally take the magazine out, flip it, reset your counter to 0, and then you start shooting side two. And then when you're done shooting, you take out the magazine, send it back to the FPP for developing and scanning. And that's really it. It's a terrific camera. It took very precise, nice images. Very pleased with it, and I'm looking forward to shooting with it again. Talk to you super soon. Drop us a comment down below or shoot me an email, michael@filmphotographyproject.com. Talk to you soon.
This is a cake. I brought a cake. We can cut it. We can eat it. It's a good cake. I'm going to bring this cake in. We're going to slice it. And this is some other stuff that goes with the cake. Here's a chair. This is my chair. I brought my chair in. This is my favorite chair. I want to show you my chair. It's a great chair. It swivels, it spins, it's comfortable, and I'm going to bring my chair in. Let's bring the chair in, and then I'm going to bring this cake. Whoop, and this other thing. Hey, here it is, the cake. See? I wasn't kidding. Delicious.
Always use.
Say that again.
Ugh.